I'm Katrina, and this is Sow and Tare. And today I'm going to go through my seeds and see what I'm going to be planting this year. For my area, I'm in zone 9B, and I looked up my last frost date. That's something you want to know when you're planting a spring garden. You also want to know your first frost date when you're planting a fall garden. So spring garden, you need the last frost date. And for me, 2022, you just look for last frost date and then put in your zip code, and it'll come up. You can look at it in the Farmer's Almanac, or it'll come up online. And for my location, the last spring frost is February 27th. Today is the 28th of January, so we're about 4 weeks out. I should have started a lot of these before today, but I didn't. It's going to be okay. So I'm going to be starting a lot of seeds indoors, and then I will be starting some seeds outside. The ones that are outside are going to be things like, you know, peas, which will go right into the ground, and then I'll be starting seeds in the ground for my spring garden as well. But so things like green beans and stuff, I plant that straight. I direct sow into the ground. I don't start those inside. But a lot of the seeds for the spring garden, I'm going to be starting inside and growing as starts, and then transplanting outside. So if you haven't already, you signed up for this, you're probably either already received or going to receive an enormous amount of seed catalogs. And so what you want to do is take note of what you have already, because I've ordered stuff that I already have before, and then you have more seeds. Seeds are always great, and I've gone a little crazy with my seeds. I actually I've had them in these containers that are really, I was using sticky notes as dividers, which doesn't work well. I think it was Acre Homestead, I think. I don't know, I see her stuff every once in a while. But these containers are made for photos, and I just put my seeds in here a couple weeks ago, and they're somewhat organized. They're not appletized or anything like that, like they should be. But it's a carry case, and it opens up, and then it has these little containers. They're made for photos, but they fit, like Baker Creek seed packets are a little big, and they fit them really great. So I did this, and I have 3 containers for food and 1 container for flowers. That's how many seeds I have, which is a lot, but that's okay. We always want more, right? I already went through the ordering process, and I did order some green beans. Last year we had a really great green bean harvest, but they had strings, and so we didn't use them as much as we could have and should have. So I ordered a stringless green bean type. I actually have a couple other types that are stringless that I didn't realize because my seeds weren't organized, so now they are. And so I will be trialing a couple of different kinds of those, but I bought a lot of seeds of the one kind that are stringless. So that means that you don't have to like get the ends off and string off the middle and then prepare it or then preserve it. You can just cut it off or snap it or just cook it whole, and that works. So if you are in a colder zone than I am, and your last frost date is not right now, and even if you're in the same zone, now is the time you want to order seeds if you haven't already. So I highly recommend Baker Creek. They have a lot of heirloom seeds. They're great people, and they are the ones that put on the Heirloom Expo every year. Well, not for the past few years, but you know, COVID. But they are great people. They support school gardens, and they're awesome. Hudson Valley Bay Company, Seed Company, something like that. Anyway, look it up. And they are also good people and do great things, and they have wonderful art on their seed packs. I don't have a catalog from them, but you can find that online. And Baker Creek has, this is just their catalog they send out. They have a full catalog that's like that thick, and every seed has a story. It's really cool. And then I have found a lot of stuff, Territorial Seeds. This is out of Oregon, and I really like them. I ordered my garlic from them this year, and they're really good. I've ordered seeds from them in the past, not a whole lot, but I really like them so far. And then I have a general thing, burpee. I don't really order a whole lot out of these types of catalogs, but every once in a while, looking for a variety, and I find it here. Find it seeds anywhere, right? So you can find seeds at the dollar store. I don't know that I trust a lot of those. You can try them, see how it works, but they're not always stored in the best way. Some of them work though, so it depends on your location and how the seeds have been treated. And then, I mean, you can find them at Walmart, you can find them at Lowe's, you can find them at your local hardware store, you know, Ace. But then nurseries also have a lot of seeds, and a lot of local seeds sometimes show up in nurseries, like people who grow the seeds locally. You're going to find more local stuff there, or you have the potential to. So that's some seed sources. Another way to have seeds is to save them yourself. That'll be a different video later on. Or to just let your seeds seed themselves in your yard. So anyway, I'm going to talk about a few things that you're looking at when you're looking in these catalogs. First is to know your planting zone, and once you know your planting zone, that gives you kind of approximately what you can plant without having it in a greenhouse. And then next you want to know your frost date. So if you're planning for spring, you need to know your last spring frost date. If you're planning for fall, you need to know your last fall frost date. And that will give you a guidance. In most seed packets, it says on the back, plant indoors 4 to 6 weeks before your last frost date. Plant outdoors after the ground has thawed, or plant outdoors after your last frost date, or 1 week before or 2 weeks after, something like that. So those are two important things to know. Those are two important things to know when deciding what plants to grow. Another thing to pay attention to is what's local to you. So there are some things that you either won't be able to grow because of your climate, or you're not going to be able to grow as well. And you may have to find different varieties within that type. So like for a lot of people, tomatoes have diseases. If you're in a humid area, you can have a lot of tomato blight and just like powdery mildew issues. But here where I am, we don't really have much tomato disease issues because it's usually dry in the summer. We do have some fog, but usually it's dry. So that's something, some plants require a lot of heat or a very long growing season. So the other thing you want to know is how many planting days do you have? So what that basically is your last frost date in the spring to the first frost date in the fall, and those dates, you add them up, and that's how many days, planting days you have. So like on the back of a seed packet, let's just look up, let's look up cucumber Mexican sour gherkin. This is from Baker Creek, rareseeds.com. On the back of this, it tells you when the sprouts 7 to 14 days. Ideal temperature is 70 to 90. So if you're in a cooler climate, don't plant these. Seed depth, 1/2 inch. Plant spacing, 18 to 36 inches apart. That can vary. So on seed packets, your spacing is made, the spacing it tells you is for fields that in rows. So if you have a block of raised beds, you're not stepping in between the rows. You don't need that space. You just need to know that like stuff like this, you need a trellis and it needs to grow up. Anyway, that's negligible on a lot of things. Square foot gardening is a thing. You can grow things up and grow things horizontally underneath them. So there's a variety of ways you can do that. So this says frost hardy, no. And then how many hours of sun. And tells you what kind of soil it needs. Hot summer, trellis growing is good. But it doesn't tell you that you need to plant it from the last frost date. But it does tell you that it's not frost hardy. So that tells you that you need to plant it either indoors before the frost or outdoors after the last frost in the spring. So that's one example. I kind of want to, oh. This is another one that I got that has multicolors. I was going to use it in color coding, but I like the clear ones better because I can see through them better. Yeah. Okay, so here's a pepper, another example. Here's a pepper, lemon drop, and this actually tells you start indoors in bright light 8 to 12 weeks before last frost date. A lot of peppers, you're supposed to start super early. So 8 to 12 weeks, I'm 4 weeks in, okay, or 4 weeks away. So this one I'm going to try because I want to, and it will be fine. And I am going to actually leave my peppers inside longer than I have in the past because sometimes we get some colder nights and it stunts the growth. So I'm going to keep peppers in a little bit longer. But that will tell you when to plant it. I think that's it. Sometimes it'll tell you if it's shady or sunny or how much sun it needs or something like that. So when choosing different things to plant, those are the things to look at.
After editing this ended up being a really, really long video, so I decided to split it up into 2 different parts. This first part is the intro, and then the second part, which will come out the next day, is a look at me going through my seeds and deciding what I'm going to plant in my garden, and kind of some reasons behind that, and it gets pretty long, but if you're interested in seeing that part, I just decided to make that a separate video. That way, those people that don't care about that, don't have to sit through all of it, and they'll still get this information as a short introductory video. So I hope that you'll watch that one, and there'll also be one coming out of seed planting, and I hope you enjoy looking through your seed catalogs and deciding what you're going to plant. Have a good day.